It's time now for a check of the top business news stories. Kate Moody joins me. Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Tom.
Now, Brexit back and in a fairly major way on our radars. Boris Johnson ratcheting up the pressure over the deal with the EU, and businesses are prepared for all eventualities, including the eventuality of a no-deal Brexit.
Absolutely, because there are only 38 days now to strike a deal, with the EU warning against any move to try to revisit or override last year's withdrawal agreement. The Federation of Small Businesses in the UK has this Monday called on the government to provide them with targeted financial support to help them navigate the next phase of Brexit. The group says they've had to spend much of the transition period dealing with the coronavirus pandemic rather than their future outside the European Single Market and Customs Union, and that they're now less prepared for a no deal than they were 6 months ago. Economists, meanwhile, said the heightened rhetoric didn't substantially alter their predicted outcome. Most analysts say the chances of reaching a trade deal in time remain about 50-50, but that it added to the short-term risks for the British economy. Currency traders, meanwhile, warning that the pound could be in for a rough few weeks. Sterling dropped to around $1.31 and around €1.11. Let's check in on the rest of the day's trading action. Now, the major European indices closed higher as they tried to shake off last week's tech-driven sell-off. Gains of around 2% across the board there. The DAX was up despite data showing that industrial production in Germany began to lose steam in July. The CAC 40 was up about 1.8% at the close. Wall Street isn't open for trading today as the U.S. marks the Labor Day holiday weekend. Well, earlier, shares of China's largest chip maker dropped nearly 23% after the U.S. threatened to blacklist it. The Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation has denied having ties with China's military. The Trump administration has been waging war against a number of Chinese tech giants, including Huawei and the popular app TikTok, saying that they pose a security threat. The foreign ministry spokesman accused Washington of blatant bullying and breaking international trade rules.
This not only violates the rules of international trade and destroys the global industrial chain, supply chain and value chain, it also damages US national interests and its own image. We urge the United States to stop the erroneous practice of misusing the concept of national security to suppress foreign companies.
Well, Donald Trump has just in the last hour said he'll move to prohibit federal contracts from being awarded to companies that outsource to China. We'll be getting more on that story as we get it for you. Well, separately, one of Huawei's rivals in the field of 5G has scored a victory in the United States. South Korean telecoms manufacturer Samsung has signed a more than $6.5 billion deal with American operator Verizon. It's not known how much of that agreement explicitly covers 5G, but it puts Samsung in a strong position to become a global provider. Luke Schrago reports.
It's a major win for Samsung. A $6.65 billion deal with Verizon will see the South Korean electronics company provide the US telecoms firm with network equipment and services, mainly in the 5G band, for the next 5 years. It comes 2 years after both firms teamed up for trials of 5G-powered home internet and will give Samsung a major boost in its mission to become a global supplier of the communications technology. It currently trails the top three, Nokia, Ericsson and world leader Huawei. However, the Chinese firm has seen Western governments under US pressure crack down on or outright ban its use with national security concerns over data protection, giving Samsung and other rivals a shot at boosting their market share. The South Korean conglomerate has already invested over $30 billion in the US market alone, with Washington announcing last month it'd auction off in another 2 years areas of the spectrum previously dedicated to military use, as it ramps up 5G coverage for civilian use.
Meanwhile, one of the tech industry's biggest annual events is going ahead in Berlin, the first such event since the coronavirus pandemic struck. Many big names, including Samsung and Sony, chose not to attend the IFA Electronics Fair, leaving smaller startups in the spotlight. Several focused on communication and connection as more people around the globe continue working from home. And it'll come as no surprise that among the new gadgets on display was a high-tech version of the must-have accessory of 2020, the face mask.
Those fabric masks can get rather stuffy. It's got a very light, very quiet fan to assist your breathing. A breathing sensor that changes fan operation when you inhale and also exhale.
Right, so no price released on that model yet, Tom, but I would bet that it would cost a bit more than your standard cloth face covering.
Yes, indeed. I can see why as well. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. Our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you so much.